Welcome to our session, Sharpen the Seesaw. I'm Johnnie Tysklind, and I'm a K-5 technology teacher at Brookview Elementary in Waukee.
I'm Shannon. I teach at Schuler, K-5 Technology 2 in Waukee.
And today we have a couple things that we're going to be doing. Our goals for today is that we're going to be exploring some of the creative tools and updates within Seesaw. We're going to explore as a student first. We'll be creating an activity, and then we'll flip over to the teacher side versus the student side. So we're going to switch perspectives, and then we'll add a little bit more onto activities. And we have just one final thing before we hit the door today.
Okay, so this summer Seesaw did some updates. One of the updates that you'll notice when you first log in is at the student page, when they go to click post an assignment activity, the page actually looks a little bit different. They've updated the icons. It's not color anymore, it's black and white. So you'll see some changes there. A lot of the changes, though, you'll see actually inside when you go to create your activity. So I'm going to demonstrate for you now some of those things that you might see when you're in there. So bear with me as I escape out of here. Okay, so this is the Seesaw practice class, and you'll see QR codes on your table. Those are the QR codes in just a second that will get you into there. You don't need to worry about that right now, but that's the class that you'll get into. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Add button, and this is from the perspective of a student, what they would do. We're going to go to Post Student Work, and we're going to go and click on the Drawing tool right here, because a lot of the updates were in the Drawing tool. So when we come to the Drawing tool right here, I'm going to start by actually putting multiple photos in. So this is something new to Seesaw. They didn't have the ability to do before. We can actually put multiple photos into our project. So I'm going to come over to my camera and click on Camera. No, just kidding. I'm not going to click on Camera. I'm going to click on Upload. And I'm going to grab these from my computer here. And I'm just going to pull in some images from the iTech Fair from last spring in Ames. So I double clicked on some 3 photos. All 3 photos come in now to my page. This is a new feature that students couldn't do before. And as a teacher too, you can create activities. I have these photos in here now. If I wanted to turn it maybe like into a book or something, over here on the side, you now have the ability to add multiple pages. So it's a great opportunity for students to be able to create a book over their learning in science or social studies or wherever it might be. So if I just click here, I have my 1 out of 1 page for right now. I have my 3 photos. I'm going to go over to the left-hand side where you see the 3 dots. And when I click there, there's some new features here too. We have different shapes that they've added. So when we click on shapes, you have the ability to add lots of different shapes now, including a 100Q, 10Q, so a lot of different math things. They also brought in some music notes, and if I was musical, I would know what those were, but I don't. So, and lots of different shapes. The other thing that's awesome is when you click on the 3 dots, you have the ability now to add some different backgrounds. And a couple of those backgrounds are like writing. So students want to do some writing. They could go in and practice their letters with their fingers. We have the geoboard dots there where they could do some math type things. Again, the music lines, the scale lines there where they could do some music type things. Just your regular lines, and then graph paper, which is great for your math and doing some graphs right in here. They can do some graph type things. And they all love, right now, they all love the rainbow. So the rainbow background is where it's at. When you click on the T, just like before, you can type in your text, or I guess my keyboard doesn't pop up for emojis. It doesn't show emojis, it doesn't pop up. When you're on an iPad, your keyboard will pop up, and you have the ability to add emojis in there too. There's the emoticon down at the bottom, right, the space bar. It does not pop up on the desktop, so maybe one disadvantage of that. But I'm going to come back up to my shapes. We can add this. We can put our different shapes in. The other thing they've added is the ability to add layers. So when I put a shape in here, if I want my photo to go underneath or this to go on top, I can click on my 3 dots. And I can say send it back, and it'll put it to the back now. So you have the ability to layer items that maybe you couldn't do before. A couple tools down here. One of the new ones the kids really love is the glow pen. So down at the bottom, they have the ability to choose the color over here. And then they can choose their size by clicking on it. And then they have the ability to do the glow pen, which they all think the glow pen is amazing as well. All right, so that takes care of the newest features. One other thing that's kind of cool, if you use Chromebooks or if you are at desktop computers, students can actually add a Seesaw extension, which is new and really cool. It works on Chromebooks, obviously. iPads does not work on yet, but I'm thinking that they'll do that in the future, which would be really nice. So I'm just going to play a short little snippet. I think it's 45 seconds. But what it allows you to do actually is just to go into a web page. Kids can pull off the whole web page, or they can do a selected area of a web page, and it will import it directly into their Seesaw, whatever they're doing. So they can mark up a piece of text, or they could take an image from online and mark that up how they wanted to. So let me show this here. There is no sound. So they have the ability to either capture the visible area or the piece, a selected piece. And they can bring that right in to Seesaw to be able to reflect on something. It's on the App Store. I tried it in our computer lab. We have Mac computers, and students are able to do it, but you do have to have them download that Seesaw extension in order to make it work. So, all right.
So now we're going to have some time to explore. We're going to be signing in as a student first. So on your laptops, go ahead and type in Seesaw login at the top. And your screen's going to pop up as either I'm a teacher or I'm a student. So you can do that on your iPads, you can do that on your laptops, whatever works best for you, on your phones. Once you get into that spot, this is where we're going to use the card for today. So on your card, and if you don't have one of these cards, I'll be around in just a second to help pass these out. But once you sign in, you're going to click I'm a student. After you tap I'm a student, if you're on a laptop, you're going to enter in the text code, which is UAHTPA. If you have an iPad, there's a QR code that's right on your screen, or right on your table. You can go ahead and scan in that QR code, and it's going to take you to our Seesaw practice class, where we're going to be testing out some of these tools today.
So you're logging in as a student right now and practicing from the student perspective, and then a little bit we'll log in as a teacher, and you'll be able to try an activity through a teacher perspective.
And then I have number cards too. If you didn't get a chance to get one of these cards, this is anybody else need a card? So the card's going to be your student number. Yeah, if you already have a teacher account, this will not mess it up. You're just flipping your perspective, and we're going to sign in as a student for this. I'm going to put this code back up here in just a second, but I'm going to give everyone else who's ready to start a chance to explore. So you are going to have a little bit of time to explore some of these new tools. Once you click I'm a student, you're going to select whatever number is on your card. Once you select that number, you're going to go ahead and click the drawing tool. And then just like Shannon showed you before with some of the different pictures, you'll have some of the tools to explore. We're going to explore for about 7 minutes. Once that 7 minutes is up, then we'll go ahead and move on. So I'm going to put that slide back up really quick if you need the text code. And then I'll put the 7 minutes up for a little bit of time to explore. And then we'll be around to help.
relieve myself still.
So you're going to go to class one first, and then once you have you'll design yours, and then once you have posted, you'll have me post next 15. Yeah.
So once you get in, you can go ahead and click that green plus button, and then that's going to take you to the area where you can explore.
If you want to try adding in the phone extension, if you're on a laptop, you can go to the phone store if you're in Google and add that in.
Do you just have a car like this? The front and the back. You don't need that code, I think. You need the code. The code? The text code? Oh, yes.
This is
Okay. I don't know why.
Did you get that again?
Yes. Okay, so now you look slow. And you draw it. Yeah. And now you can explore some of the tools. Thank you.
Apple pens too, if any of you have Apple pens, they work great with Seesaw on the iPads.
Sorry, I can't do silence. I gotta do a little bit of music. I hope you guys are okay with that this morning.
I know, I just started
Yes. I can't. I'll show you how to stop this. So you'll already have a post to the parents on their directly, and they go back to edit and copy, it's going to copy their previous work, and then they'll keep working on it. Yeah, and I decided to contact them, deleted their old work, and then they're saved. We'll take about another minute and a half, 2 minutes, and you can go ahead and, when you're done, you can go ahead and press the check at the top and find your student number, and we'll take a look and see just a couple things that we designed as a crew today.
Just through this, right?
Yeah, that's how we do it. I know.
That's not that. Yeah. Okay, so like you go to a website first.
Yeah, so then
So I have to go to where I want first.
yes, and then copy it.
Okay, hold on. So like, so like if I want this.
So now if you attach the sections,
Oh, I captured the whole thing. And if I want just the picture, oops. Then I went to area.
yes.
Ah. That is so cool.
Is that awesome? All right, so we'll go ahead and wrap up your designs, and we'll take a look at our seesaw class. So at the top of your screen, you'll see a green check. Yeah. You're going to see a green check up at the top of your screen. So it'll be right up here. Once you click on that, you're going to then pick your student number. So wherever your student number is, you can go ahead and click it, and then press the check again, and it's going to post to our class.
You can skip the folder part, but just so you see, you do have the ability to add class folders. So you can put any different type of folder in there that you wanted to.
So now we have, are these from previous? So we have a whole entire folder of activities that we just created as a session. So we have all of these using our different pen tools, folders, adding in text. As we keep going, changing some backgrounds, using the Chrome capture tool to get that in, using some of our base 10 blocks to capture some math, maybe some questions that go along with it. So all of the different possibilities, and we just did this within 5 minutes, and we've captured all of these different things. I had a question about editing activities. So if a student's working on an activity and time runs out, they can now come back to that activity. This is a new feature starting this year with Seesaw. So what they'll do once they see their activity has been posted, they're going to go down to their 3 dots at the bottom. And once they click on those 3 dots, there's going to be an option to copy and edit. So they'll click the copy and edit button, and now they can continue working on wherever they left off. So this is brand new. Once they do go back and copy and edit it, the original work is still there though, and then the updated one will also post to the journal. But I feel like that could be a really good talking point with parents as well, showing their growth and maybe what they've learned over time. So those are our new tools within Seesaw.
Okay, so now you've kind of seen a little bit student side. We're going to switch over now to the teacher side, so you can kind of see how the tools look on your end. Johnny's going to walk you through how to create an activity so that you can create activities that are applicable to what you're doing in your classroom, like a math activity or a reading activity. So she'll walk you through the steps, and then we'll sign in as a teacher.
We're signing first.
We're going to sign in first? Okay, we're going to sign in first. So go ahead, we're going to go up to the top left-hand corner where you'll see the icon that kind of is like the, yep, top left-hand corner again. Yep, go ahead, check mark. Green check mark. Green check mark. There you go. The gear icon in the top left-hand corner, if you click on that and say sign out.
I'm doing it up here too if you need steps that she knows
Yep.
through it.
Gear icon, top left-hand corner, click on sign out, and then sign out again in the red letters. And then we're going to go back, and this time we're going to log in as a teacher. So this is where you'll click on I'm a teacher. And if you already have your account, go ahead and sign in. If you don't have an account, you can easily create one by using sign in with Google. And if you need help getting there, let me know, and I want to help you. And it looks like a lot of you already have copies created, which is awesome.
Okay, so while you continue getting signed in as a teacher, we're going to go through the steps to actually create an activity. So with Seesaw, there is an entire Seesaw library of activities that Shannon will go over in just a little bit, but we're going to be creating an All About Me activity together. So when you sign in, you're going to come over to the light bulb for activities. And once you click on the light bulb for activities, you'll go down to the bottom where it says Browse Activity Library. Once you get to the Browse Activity Library, you're going to come over to where it says My Library. And this is where you're going to be able to start designing your own activities for your class. So the plus button is going to lead you to create a new activity. And we're going to title this All About Me. As I go through this, feel free to adjust it as needed. You're going to have some time, not all about it, all about me. You're going to have some time to adjust this activity as we go. But notice that there are some shortcut icons that are on your table. These are going to be really helpful images for students as you start adding in the directions. So our first step for this is we're going to do number 1, tap the add. And when you type in the add label button, that's going to be this picture right here. So I'm going to use all shortcuts as I type in my directions. So direction number 1, tap the add button. Once it posts, that's when the pictures will start to come up. I'm going to move into step 2. Step 2, and you can, as I go, you can type these in as I go too, and then feel free to adjust them as I go. We're going to click the drawing.
Johnnie, can I stop you for 1 second?
Yeah.
On your tables, there's these Seesaw shortcuts, and that's what makes the icons. So you have to type in the words with the information to actually get that icon to show up on your directions. And we have a link for that at the end of the slideshow. So if we don't have enough copies probably here to take home, but you can definitely access it once you get back to here.
From another table.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
So I'll keep going as Shannon's kind of helping too. So we're going to click the drawing icon. It's going to be our second step. Step 3 is click the camera. And just take a photo. And take selfie. Step 4 is going to be to use the label to write 3 words about yourself. Describe you. And step 5 will be tap the check. And our last step for this activity creation is going to be to find your name. and tap the check again. So I'll leave this up here for a second as you're creating yours. Again, the images aren't up there yet, but once we get ready to post them, they'll be up there. And as this posts, if you feel like you missed any directions along the way too, that you can always go back in to edit your activity. You can always go back in and add more directions, or as you work through the activity, know that some things will change along the way, and you can go back and do that.
You also have the ability to add voice instruction. So if you have younger students like kindergartners or first graders who still aren't at that reading point yet maybe, you can click on the add voice instructions and record yourself giving each of those directions. And they can listen to that multiple times, however many times they need to actually get it. And then ready to go over the multimedia.
Yeah, and then I'm going to go ahead and add an example. So I'm going to add, you can add a template right here. I'm going to add instructions so students can see exactly what the model is for what I want them to create. So I'm going to click on my drawing tool, and I'm going to click on my camera. I'm going to take a picture right here. Once my picture loads, I'm going to add in 3 words about myself. So it was my 4th direction, said tap the T. And I'm going to write in, I like outdoors, I am athletic, and I'm a French. So once I have those, I can tap off to the side. Now students are wanting to change colors. This would be a chance for them to tap on their text. They can change their colors. Once they're done with that, our 5th direction was to tap the check.
So let's try that while that's uploading. You're going to go down to where it says add. Is the exact language with it? Yes, add multimedia example. So if you click on the add multimedia instructions or example, then you'll click on join. You're going to create an example for them, kind of like a model or an exemplar for them to use.
I'll get there.
Okay. Go ahead and take a photo of yourself by clicking on the camera icon and put 3 labels on there.
So once you have that added in, you can go ahead and press save, and then you're going to notice that that's going to save inside your own teacher account. And you would have this ready to go for students tomorrow or Wednesday.
So once you finish a page, you're on the create and reflect at the top, you'll click the green check mark. Then you'll see that appear at the bottom. You'll see your template appear, say it's attached. And then you would just go ahead and click save in the bottom right-hand corner of the blue button. And then it's there for you to be able to use with students.
No, that's your own personal.
That's what.
Yeah, so this test class, that's perfect. Yeah, yeah, that works.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, yours is big too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oh, and then there it shows up.
Okay.
So then just put
We're going to come back to that slide in just a second, and then you'll have time to kind of play around and work, but Shannon has a couple things that she's going to go over with extra activities.
Okay, so Couple of things. Obviously, you have the ability to create your own, like we just did. We're going to give you time in a second to create your own. But before you actually go out and create your own, I want to show you that activity library, because you guys, there's so many good things there that you can like not steal, but like take and borrow and revamp for what you need it to be. So if I go into, let's go back to where you are. Are you all back on this main page here? If we get back to our home page right here, you're going to click on the activities icon, the light bulb, and you're going to scroll down just a little ways until you see the blue button that says Browse Activity Library, and you're going to click on that. And up will pop lots of great activities. So you have the ability to search by grade level. You have the ability to search by a subject. So someone raise your hand, tell me what you teach, what we could look up.
5th grade.
5th grade. Okay. What's a topic you guys are studying right now in 5th grade?
Dividing with multi-digit numbers.
Okay, so we're going to type that in. So up pops lots of different activities that teachers have already made. One of the things that I look for is in the bottom, it has hearts and it says how many people like that activity. It's kind of a good indicator maybe if how good it is. Maybe not necessarily, but like this one has 3,231 likes. So that might be a good one to maybe look at. So let's say maybe I choose, we'll go with this McDonald's one. It's kind of fun. I just tap on that. It already has the directions done for me. It already has a template in. Now what might happen is you might say, oh my gosh, this is really good, except there's just one thing that I want to change. You have the ability to change that activity by coming down to the 3 dots in the bottom right hand corner. Oh, no you don't. Edit activity, yeah. Okay, we have to assign it first. We'll assign it. So I'm going to choose my class, and I don't want it to go into my classes at school, so let me find my practice class. Here's the class. Okay, assign to one class. Now once it's in my class, I'm going to go to it. All right, here it is right here. I can choose if I wanted to go into a folder for students. I can do all that ahead of time, so when students actually do the activity, it's going to go right into their math folder. It's going to go right into their reading folder. It's a great way too, like if you do guided reading groups or guided math groups or whatever it might be, and you're doing stations, and you have just 5 students that you want in this group, you can just send one activity out to those 5 students, and it goes right into their activity library. Or another 4 students, and it goes right to their activity library. So when I click on the 3 dots, then I can click on Edit Activity. And that's where I can change things around. Like maybe I didn't like the directions. Maybe I want to add my own voice instructions to it. And maybe I don't like the template that they actually add, and I want to change it around a little bit. So you have the ability to edit an activity too that you've browsed just by going in and clicking those 3 dots. Down here you have your more options, and that's where I was talking about. You can turn your share on immediately, or you can set it to share at a certain time, like if it's a guided reading group and you only want to share it a certain day. You can put it into a folder, and I think skills is just with the paid version, right? Okay, so skills will not probably be an option for most of you. So now what we want to do is we want to take a little bit of time for you to choose to either create your own activity, like completely on your own, like we just did with Johnnie, or to go into the activity library and find something that you maybe want to put into your folder for kiddos to use. So we're going to take 10 minutes or so, and maybe a little bit longer. So to get started, you're going to be back on your home page. Right? Let me get back there for you. Back on your home page here, you're going to come to Activities. You're going to scroll down to the bottom, click Browse Activity Library. And then this is where you can choose either, we have Community, School, and My Library. If you're on My Library, at the top, this is where you have the ability to create your new activity if you want to create one completely on your own. So up here should pop Create New Activity, and that's where you can create your own completely new activity, right? Or you can go to Community, and you can search for one that you think would be helpful for you and the subject you teach and the grade level. And then you can edit that activity for something that you think might be helpful for you as well, okay? So maybe make it a goal to add at least one activity. Would that be a good goal? You can add voice instructions. We'll be here to help and walk you through. Alright. We'll turn back on a little bit of music while we have some time to explore.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know anything about the idea. So how do you do that? So I do it like time also. So like when I pick up the problems and what I'm doing with it. But how do you do that folder? No, that's what I'm saying. So how do I do that? I like that.
There you go.
So I could make that like my reading comprehension folder. And so in those folders, can you assign certain kids to just those folders?
So you can assign activities to certain kids.
Right, I've done that.
Here, yeah.
So I didn't know if there was like different, and how many folders can you have? Okay, okay, that's what I wondered. Yes. Oh, because they can put stuff in the folder. So like practice writing folder.
Yeah.